Mark O'Mara is George Zimmerman's attorney. Now, if you've been following the George Zimmerman case, we've been trying to keep up with it. The George Zimmerman defense team, number one, has lost a bunch of motions, and the situation is looking worse and worse for them. Number two, the trial is set to start. It's going to start next week. And Mark O'Mara, the attorney, the defense attorney for George Zimmerman, was on the Piers Morgan show yesterday, and he addressed an issue that a lot of people have questions about, which is George Zimmerman's weight. I mean, if you're watching us, look at this picture over my shoulder, Louis. Look at what has happened here. He looks like a different person. He's literally a different person if you think about the amount of weight he's put on. Here's what his attorney had to say about it.
In terms of George Zimmerman himself, the latest pictures of him in court, he looked to have put on a huge amount of weight. He looked under great stress. Describe to me his physical and mental condition right now.
Yeah, please.
He's facing a prosecution where they're trying to put him in prison for life for an event that he believes he acted reasonably and in the only way that he could. And he is in hiding because he can't go out in public. He's gained an enormous amount of weight, over 120, 25 pounds, I think, because he's sitting in a house, stressed, trying to deal with the moniker that's been put on him that he's the most hated man in America for taking the life of somebody when he really feels that he needs to. Nobody takes the life of another lightly, and neither does George. And it's obviously...
Let's discuss this. Question one.
Hold on. First, let's debunk the claim that nobody takes the life of another lightly.
Okay.
I think we could find millions of examples of that not being the case.
That's true. There are certainly people. The first things first. I like where Lewis is going here. There are many times in history where we have seen people take lives lightly. That's number one. Number two, could this be part of a legal strategy in some way that you can imagine? The weight gain, not saying that the weight gain is deliberate necessarily, but the use and the portrayal and the discussion of the weight gain as some kind of a legal strategy. Natan, what do you think?
It certainly could be. When the jury looks at him and they think to themselves, and even if the lawyer mentions it as in the trial that he's under a tremendous amount of stress and he's gained a lot of weight, certainly that could factor into it. Although I will say that this appearance on Piers Morgan by his defense attorney is really just a PR move. It doesn't really have to do with the trial in and of itself. It's just so to convince us and everyone in the media and everyone who's watching that you should be on this guy's side in this case.
Well, let me go to you, Louis, on that. That was the next line of questioning, which is, it stands to reason that if you are a defense attorney and you're about to start a huge trial and you're talking to Piers Morgan opposite an attorney for the Trayvon Martin family, there has to be enough concern that using weight gain to try to get a not guilty verdict or to get a reduced verdict would not be out of the question, right? I mean, the evidence is he's already doing media the week before the trial.
Yeah, I think they'll do anything they can. Any edge they think they can get to win is what you're going to do in any situation, I would think.
Here's the question to our audience, and I want to hear from you. What do you think will happen with the George Zimmerman verdict? What will eventually happen once whatever it is that's going to happen, whatever pieces of evidence will or won't be allowed? What will be the verdict? Will he be found guilty of second-degree murder? Will he not? Will he plead out? Will this go to an actual jury verdict? What will happen?